That's enough eating off the ground. Oh, that doesn't go there. Oh. Alright, let's see how our audio sounds today. Alright, that seems to be working, which is great. Hey, Squirrel Sniper's here. Hey, Squirrel Sniper. Alright, that seems to be working. Welcome. Ugh. No speed training today, guys. Just going to be hitting balls. Maybe answering some questions from the chat. But it's important to rest when you're doing something like speed training. You can't do it every day and expect good results. But we'll get back to that tomorrow for sure. In the meantime, I've got an 8-iron here. We're just going to do some ball striking drills. Still working on the contact with the irons. Trying to really dial in all the changes we've made and in charge of some dogs today. What are you eating? Do you want to be a superstar? Who's that? What are you doing? You're not supposed to eat grass? You're not a cow. You're not a cow. She says, watch me, Dad. Watch me, I'll do it. Definitely important to get the body moving properly. Really happy with the state of my game after the match I played on Sunday. 3 birdies and a double and the rest pars. The double was so dumb too. I mean, I went from having a short putt at a 3 to the ball rolling off the front of the green. What are you doing? You just being a happy girl wagging your tail? Squirrel Sniper says, this month I've done double the amount on putting. It's paying off. My reading the slope has improved. That's awesome. That's exactly what you will see when you put the work in on your game. Beautiful day here in the Northeast to be outside, loosening up, hitting some golf balls, seeing what kind of interesting people we might meet today. We have people, chatters, stream chatters from all over the globe, which is one of my favorite parts about doing this. Just getting to interact with people from, Asia and Australia and Africa. All over the place. South America. Lots of watchers from like Korea. Scotland's a big one. Canada. Sycamore said hi. Hey, Sycamore. Grayson said, what's your handicap? Right now it's around 2. R.I.P. Aussie. Yeah, I saw that. Very sad. Pretty sure this is illegal. Yes, hitting it this solidly is illegal. What irons, Alex said? These are the Takomo 301 CB irons. Really attractive profile on these. You know, I would say feel-wise, compares with all the good forged irons that I've hit over the years. Oh boy. I feel like the stretching is about to be interrupted. Hi. Hi. You said I just had to come breathe right in your face. Yeah. Oh. Go, 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 go. Thank you. Thank you. Oh. Nope, still got to slow it down. That was not hit out of the center of the face. There we go. Buddy, there's enough holes in the yard already. Do we need another one? Do we need another one? I don't know. Thanasis Antetokounmpo said hi. Hey, Thanasis. Sycamore said no speed training today. Nope, not today. Today's a rest day from speed training, so just working on ball striking. Doing some drills to work on hitting the center of the face. And we'll be back with more speed training tomorrow on the stream, hopefully around the same time. And see if we can get past that 113 number with our gamer. There we go. Just, it never hurts to just keep slowing it down. Boom. Some neighbors down there are enjoying a nice day. Playing some music, vibing out. It's always great to see. You guys being crazy? You being so crazy? You want to help? You want to help practice? Oh, man. Baphomet said R.I.P. Ozzy Osbourne. Yes, R.I.P. Zorbic said hi. Hey, Zorbic. Thanasis, that can't actually be Giannis, the NBA player's brother. I mean, it definitely could be. I mean, I'm sure anybody randomly could make their name that on the internet, but it also, you know, it just could be. You never know. That's what the sound and the feel that we're looking for. That's why we do these small swings, is just to really dial in that technique, the skill of delivering the center of that face onto the ball, hitting the ball first and then the turf. Troxy is from India. Bathtub Larry. Hello, Alistair. Sycamore says lagging, got to go. See ya, Sycamore. Hey, Adventure Brothers. SMME says I keep bottoming the ball. Any minor adjustments / advice? When you say bottoming, do you mean like hitting it along the ground, or like hitting it out of the bottom of the club? Help me. Give me a little more context to answer your question, but I would love to help. Hi. Hi. You silly. You gonna help? Are you practicing right now? What? Who's that? Who's that? You enjoying the nice weather? Yeah. Go find your brother. What's he doing? Dogs are truly the best. Nice. That's what we're looking for. That thumpy center of the face contact. Finding extra golf balls all over the place today. Also, what should my seat feel like over the ball? How old were you when you started golf? I started when I was probably like 8 or 10. I mean, there's pictures of me like with a golf club as a small child, but I didn't play seriously until I was maybe 15 or 16, like in high school. Can I pet that dog? Yeah. Was your first handicap that you can remember? I'm not sure. Definitely not good. I mean, I would shoot like in the 90s when I started. And then once I started taking it seriously, I pretty quickly was shooting in the 80s. And then, after a year or two of practicing, was shooting in the 70s. All right, so if you're hitting it out of the bottom of the club and kind of along the ground, right? But we got to understand what we're trying to accomplish, when we're hitting the iron to get it up in the air, right? And I'll just do this very basic demonstration and show you about weight shift and how that has such a huge impact on the strike and, how you're able to deliver this club into impact, right? So if I make a backswing and I keep my weight back here on my trail side, I'm going to hit the ground. Behind the ball, I'm going to really struggle. I might kind of scoop it or be able to try to lift the ball up in the air, right? But a lot of bad things are going to happen. If I make a backswing and I keep my weight right where it is, I can definitely get back and hit the ball, but I'm going to hit it kind of along the bottom of the club potentially. Not a ton of power from that position, right? But if I make a backswing and I shift my weight forward, well, now I can really deliver a powerful strike into that ball, right? So that's the first place I would start to answer your question is like, if you're really struggling to make good contact and get the ball up into the air, and you can break this down into small pieces, right? You can grab a short club, choke down on it, make a very small backswing, something like this, right? And just practice really making sure that you're getting onto the back of that ball. Grab a 9-iron and try to hit it like 40 yards in the air. And just make a little swing where you can practice, that strike, getting the ball up into the air where you hit the ball first and then the turf. That can be a really good one. I find that I push the ball right off the tee, whether it be iron or driver, I can't seem to correct it. So when you say push, do you mean is it just kind of starting out to the right and staying straight, or is it going that and is it curving further to the right? Everybody he deserves it. Thanks very much, Adventure Brothers. I appreciate that. Kali said hi. SSME said thank you. You're welcome. Bonjour, yous. Thank you very much, David. Welcome. If you guys are enjoying the stream like these guys, you want to hit that like button? Drop me a thumbs up. Just double click your screen. It really helps us out. Okay. So the first handicap I can remember, I don't know if I had one, but when I first started tracking my handicap, I think I was playing pretty seriously already, and I was like a 4 or 5. And then have spent most of the last 10 years between like +1 and 2. Tacomos, Linus, good eye. These are Tacomos. Rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. Shout out to Richard. R.I.P. in peace. It just goes straight right no matter how I feel I aim. It goes straight but right, almost like I'm aiming there. Oh well. R.I.P. Ozzy. What irons do you use? Grant asked. These are the Tacomo 301 CBs. R.I.P. Ozzy. Doggy Man said hi. Hey, Doggy Man. Raymond said hi. Hey, Raymond. So if you're hitting it, if it's going right, of where you think you're aimed. But the ball's not curving very much. That tells us that the face is pretty square to the path, which is a great place to start, right? But let's understand what's happening. If this is, let's say this is our target line, and the ball's starting right and just kind of staying there. It means the face is square to the path, but the path is pointed somewhere to the right of your target, right? So there's a few ways you could go about addressing this. One, you could say, okay, is it, am I actually aimed right, or do I just think that's where I'm aimed, and, I'm actually hitting the ball straight, and I just think I'm aimed further left than I am. That's one possibility. Another one is that your alignment and everything is good, but your path is just, largely out to the right, from the inside, and the face is square, so that ball is going to start right and stay there. It's not going to draw back. So another, approach, once you've identified which is the case, to get that path back to more neutral, right? This is the opposite of, the common beginner golfer miss of cutting across it, right, or swinging from the outside. But what you would do is you grab a head cover, something like this, drop it down behind your ball on the inside part, right? Because what we want is to neutralize that path so that it's more down our target line. The face is already square, so you're good to go there. But by putting this head cover here, if you do make a swing that's too much from the inside, right, your path to the ball would be blocked. So by hitting some shots like this, right, you could know, or, work on neutralizing that path, getting it more to the left. And you should see that ball start to straighten out. Additionally, shutting the face a tiny bit more from where you're starting right now will cause the ball to draw, right, because your path is already out to the right. 201s, I'm looking for new irons. 12 handicapper, I've been looking at those. These are the 301 CBs. So I've not hit the 201s, but I'm sure they're just as good. All right, Tom Basilio says hi. Hey, Basilio. Miroslav says hello. Hey, Miroslav. And if I missed your question, guys, just drop it in the chat again, and we'll make sure to get to it. You have the exact same tee box I have. I also made it myself. Awesome, CBiz. Do you prefer a high chip shot or a bump and run? I like both. It depends on the situation. My normal miss is a pull draw miss. Then I try to adjust, end up pushing it. Straight push, rarely a push fade. So a pull draw, like if the ball's really starting left of your target and then turning, means that your path is outside in and the face is closed, right? So your adjustment is to try to swing more out to the right, but not with that same closed club face. So you're adjusting both variables, right? The path and the face, and that's what's causing, so your face is less shut than it was on the pull draw miss. That's why the ball is staying straight, right? It's just kind of starting right. And you've shifted the path out to the right to try to get the ball starting further right. So again, you got to learn and start teaching yourself these combinations of face and path relationships. How do I create the trajectory that I'm looking for? And then ultimately, narrow that to consistently deliver a face and path combo, that produces a consistent shape, or a straight one, right? And so there's plenty of drills where we could explain in further detail, like this is what you need to do to hit the ball straighter. But what I would tell you is within the confines of your own swing and ability, right, is if you get on the range, and you don't have to do this at full speed, but just start learning how to shape the ball. And this is not because when you're on the golf course, you're going to start hitting like big cuts to right pins and big draws to left pins. Like, you're still supposed to aim at the center of the green and try to hit the ball pretty straight, right? But if you're saying, hey, I can't correct, I don't have the skills yet to, control my trajectory by adjusting or understanding, how to adjust my face and path, right? To do that, you have to start exaggerating. So get on the range and say, what's the biggest slice or cut I could hit, right? And you're going to really try to get that ball curving left to right. And then the very next shot, you can do the exact opposite and say, okay, I'm going to try to hit a huge draw. And how do I do that? Right? And you're trying to build the skill of, understanding, again, within the confines of your own athletic ability and swing, how do I adjust that face and path relationship. 309 concurrent viewers. Thanks, Tom. That's such good work, bro. Yeah, I didn't even see it got up that high. That's awesome. Thank you very much. I'll try that. I've only been playing Sword of 6 months, but I'm now addicted. Yeah, welcome. Loving watching the growth. Thanks, Tom. Tom's one of our awesome moderators over in Scotland, helping us out. If you guys are enjoying the stream, you want to hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button for me. Shamunian YouTube channel. How do I stop overswinging on my backswing? Good question, Darpa. I've been working on this a lot myself, and the honest answer is it takes a lot of practice, and you just gotta kind of exaggerate it, right? So I used to, especially with the irons, my backswing would get really kind of long and up here, and not doing a lot of good stuff back here, right? So now I'm trying to have it feel almost like kind of 3/4, like to left arm parallel almost, right? Like that's kind of the top of the backswing with an iron, right about here. And of course, it ends up getting a little bit past that when you're trying to swing at speed. So how I did that was I just did a bunch of rehearsals of like, okay, what does that feel like? It feels way shorter than before. You can't make like incremental adjustments. You have to be like, okay, if I'm overswinging it and that's what 100% feels like, I need to make 100% feel, like 80%. And how do I do that? I make, okay, just a bunch, this is the end of the backswing. And really exaggerate it. Like almost like, okay, time to swing. So just really, really exaggerate how much shorter that backswing is. And with enough reps, you'll notice that the swing will get shorter as you keep working on it. Most common type of swing is over the top, open or closed, just over the top by most golfers. I agree with you, SEO Biz. Okay, I see my normal shot shape's a baby draw. Normally I come in to out, but every so often I revert to my bad habit of coming over the top. I really need to stop. Thanks for the insight. You're welcome, Tom. What's the opinion on getting clubs with an extra inch or so on them? I'm quite tall, but I don't feel I'm good enough yet to get fitted for clubs. Am I missing out on trying to use normal size clubs? Well, if you are, definitely, like if you're materially above average height and you're trying to play with equipment that is not the right size for you, you can do it. You can learn how to play, but you're going to make it more difficult for yourself. If you're like, hey, average height is 5'9", and I'm 5'9" and 3/4, like, well, I'm not sure that's what I'm talking about. But if you're, 6'5", and you're trying to play with regular length clubs, that might make it a lot harder. So there's definitely some, it's just more of like, hey, how much do I want to invest in this? Do I want to make this easier on myself? A lot of OEMs or, manufacturers will, you can get extra length or adjustments made when you order clubs. You can also find used ones pretty readily that are extra length. eBay or Golf WRX is a great resource. I love that website. Oops. That was hit way out of the toe. Not what we're looking for. There we go. That was hit much better. Get him. Dogs are really the best. So this is another thing that I've been working on a lot recently, to DARPA's question earlier, about overswinging, and I've been working a lot on trying to differentiate between my iron swing and my driver swing, and not trying to like have the same feels. And so I found that I'm hitting the iron so much better when I'm able to really have some good distinct feels that are different than what I'm trying to do with the driver. Namely having the backswing is shorter. Right? These clubs are about accuracy and ball striking, not like, did I hit it 100% of my maximum distance? Right? It's about distance control and dispersion maintenance. So keeping the iron backswing nice and short. Boom. But it just happened the ball landed in the next door just above the goal from 9 Neb. I don't know if I fully understand your question, but no, I've never hit it over the net. Knock on wood. So far, so good. LR Darts, I'm like 6'5", can be a little bit of a struggle. Playing some nice short courses here. Okay, and loving it. Subscribed, and we'll definitely checking out your content. Awesome. Thanks, LR Darts. Yeah, definitely give it a look. If you're 6'5", that might require some extra attention. Tom, only been playing a year and a half. I'm hooked. Not great normal shooting in the 90s. Last week shot a personal best 85. Hold out from 80 yards on a par 5 for my first ever eagle and first hole out. That's very exciting, Tom. Congratulations. Hey, Eddie's here. What's up, Eddie? Thanks for saying hi. Braden's here. When's your next tournament or match? Good question. I have a qualifier coming up a week from today, I think. So that'll be a fun tournament round. And I've got a practice round for that on Sunday. So that's my next confirmed golf. I'd love to try to play like 9 holes maybe before then. Buddy, why are you eating all the grass? Out from there. Thank you. Thank you. Oh man, these dogs are killing me. Nick said, keep it up. Yeah, shout out to you, Nick. Thanks for keeping the stream very supportive. Tom was going to the range and practicing every day before that course went private. Do you play in PGA, Corn Ferry, Q School? I wish, Tom. No, I'm just a middling, low index amateur, you could say. But I appreciate your belief in me. That's pretty cool. I played club golf in college. That was the closest I got to trying to do anything with golf. I don't know if I could physically do it. I think like having to walk, 5 rounds a week, even if you're not carrying your bag, like having a still. I don't know if my body could hold up. Also, my lowest handicap ever is like plus 1.4. I mean, that's like 4 or 5 shots away from even being close, right? Like, I'm much closer to a 25 handicap than I am to a Tour Pro. People think scratch golfers are good, but they're mostly just okay. Speaking of tournaments, I have a work scramble coming on Friday. Any strategies you use when playing a scramble? Yeah, so general strategies would be have your best player hit last, right? Like if all the balls are out of play, you might want to know that. Especially on the greens, right? Like have somebody who's a newer player try to show you the line, and then have the better players go after to try to make it. But mostly just try to have fun. If you're playing in a scramble, right, it's not that serious, so just have a good time. Definitely don't cheat. There's nothing worse than seeing those videos of people who are like, yeah, look at us. We none of us can get the ball in the air, but we shot a 45 in our 4-man scramble. And it's like, no one has respect for those people. They just slink away to the parking lot. Yeah, just play golf with integrity. Never leave it short in a scramble. I'm sure I'll see you in the runnings next year at the Open. I wish, Tom. Mostly just okay sounds awesome. Yeah, that is how I would describe myself. That one started slightly right of where I was looking. I'm trying to hit them all at this. Kind of hard to see. There's a post back there. And I'm hoping to see every ball, hitting the net sort of in line with that. Yeah, just like that. Like if I was going to work on hitting cuts, I would want to start it left of there. Right? And the opposite for draws, I would want those starting out to the right and then turning back. Something like that. So lots of good drills and stuff you can work on. But dude, a fake 48 will get me a nice Milwaukee pack out. Yeah, good shout, Eddie. That's well said. Well said, my dude. If you could play any major as a wildcard invitational player, what would you choose? I know the most common answer would be the Masters, but answer what you would want to play. Well, I'm glad you gave me as much room as necessary to have a different answer, but I'm going to be honest, Tom. My answer is still going to be the Masters. It just is. You know, it's just the coolest tournament. I think something about, just knowing the golf course so intimately because we watch the tournament year after year after year. I think that's just so cool. That was hit well. One nice thing I like about this too, guys, is I can just kind of scroll back in real time, watch the swings back. Nice. Also, not for nothing. I mean, not that I think any scratch golfer is going to be competitive in any major tournament because of how big the skill gap is, but the Masters would be the one, I think, because people know the golf course. I've been to Augusta a couple times, driven by the golf course, but never gone as a patron. Augusta's a very interesting city. There's not a whole lot going on there besides Augusta National. I think everyone picks the Masters, just impossible to pick something else. It's Augusta, tradition like no other. Yeah, exactly. You don't know if each shot is good or bad with this. Well, Hizzle, that's where you're wrong, and that's okay. Hey, John, my absolutely beautiful dude. Hey, what's up, Rhodes? Found that on the fairway and around the green. Hit good shots because I'm loose. Off the tee is so upright. I mess it up. I can't seem to fix it. I've even stopped using the driver. Dare I say it is golf. Yeah, well said, Tom. I find it on the fairway. Yeah, so I think... if you're really struggling off the tee, right, and you're saying it's not like a execution thing, I mean, are you able to hit good drives at the driving range? Like, if you practice your driver at the range, do you hit it okay? Because it sounds like what you're describing is more of like a mental kind of thing, like like, hey, I'm stressed out about... Let me see what this is all about really quick. Sorry. Tell me more, LR Darts. Dare I say it is golf? I do have a swing speed tracker here, but I would also tell you that there are skills you can work on without a launch monitor. You can work on, hitting the center of the face. You can work on club head speed, right? I bet you guys have seen me do swing speed training the last few days in here. We'll be back with that tomorrow. There's tons of great drills you can do to improve your mechanics without, I would argue that working on mechanics is easier in this environment because you're not worried about the target. You're not worried about, did I hit the ball super solidly? If you're working on like exaggerated mechanical work, right? This can be an awesome place to do it. So that's my answer to you, Hizzle. I'm in the Northeast. It is beautiful right now. It's probably like in the high 70s, a little breeze. It's been quite warm of late. It was either raining and cold or like 97 and extremely humid. I think it could be a mixture of mental and my actual shot taking with the driver, as I'm not great on the range either, but I think it sticks in my head. Yeah, I think it can be a big part of it. A good drill that I've seen people do for this is like you could line up or tee up a number of balls in a row, right? And your objective would be like, start a swing, hit the first one, and then without stopping, right? So you'd hit ball number 1, step back, hit ball number 2, step back, and hit ball number 3, right? And you're just trying to build up that, like, getting over the fear of hitting it. Like, just got to hit it. I have family in and around NYC. I'm sure that weather is nice right now compared to this Mississippi heat. Yeah, Mississippi sounds like it's tough in late July, I would imagine. I also have family in the city. Love going down there. So something like this, right? Or you'd hit, and just trying to, kind of get some more rhythm and flow into what you're doing. That can help just try to loosen things up when you're on the golf course. But then don't forget, working on technique at slow speed is a great idea too. Right? So even if it's with the driver, you can make like some little half swings and just really focus on hitting the center of the face, trying to see that ball fly pretty straight through the air. This is how I warm up. I do this drill, with every club when it starts, if I start not hitting it well, right? And you're just gonna start chipping some, feel the ball in the center of the face, see it fly pretty straight towards your target. And then combine those two kind of things, LR, and see how you do. But awesome that you're getting started in golf and, trying to learn. That's very cool. That was hit very hard. Trying to really preserve how much of my hitting area we have here. My one complaint about this build, I spent a little more money on the mat. This was just a cheap one from like a local sporting goods store. And you can see this side already wore out after like a month. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, Tom. RIP to Ozzy. I'll try that. I think a big issue of mine too is that I'm trying to send it to the moon instead of trying to be technically correct. I think if I took a little off, it might help. Thank you. Yeah, so especially with the driver, right? When I, was talking about doing speed training yesterday, and somebody's like, "Well, you're swinging way faster, way harder than you would on the golf course." And they're like, "Yeah, absolutely, right? If that's 100%, that's as fast as I can possibly get my body to swing, right?" Well, obviously on the golf course, we're going to be at something less than 100% because we want to hit the ball, we want to, strike the center of the face. We care about where it ends up. You're trying to hit a fairway, right? So you're going to come down to some number, it could be 98%, but it's something less than 100, right? So LR, what you got to figure out is how, to what level do I need to drop my speed to where I can stay in balance, keep the ball in play, right? Because I would argue that anything beyond that, you're like, well, I'm not setting myself up for success. If I don't know where the ball's going to go, if I don't know, can I even strike it solidly? You might have to slow down and work on your technique. You might have to get to like 50%, right? Where you're hitting drivers and your intention is, I'm going to try to hit this driver with a full swing, and I'm going to try to hit it 100 yards or 80 yards, right? And you're just really working on your technique, whatever, it is in your swing that you're working on. Hi, superstar. Oh, what are you doing? What? You want to climb? Trying to climb on Dad? Hi. I know. You a happy girl? Oh, okay, okay. Where are we going? Where are we going? Okay. Oh, thank you. Oh, oh, hi. Hi. Look at you. Look at you. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, there's another one coming. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Ah! Hi. Hi. Oh, now your brother's over there. Hi, buddy. I don't know what's going on over here, but I want to find out. Yeah. That was a good takedown. Sir, what are you doing back there? Yeah, good job. Come out from there. Thank you. You enjoying the nice weather? You enjoying a nice day? Hi. Oh, you love to breathe right in my face. You love to breathe right there. Important to stay hydrated, guys. Andrea said, R.I.P. Ozzy. Yes. I'm sure you can replace the mat pretty easy, though. At least you didn't put a lot of money into it isn't the most important piece. Harder to replace the net and frame than the mat, I would think. Exactly right, Tom. You nailed it. Any tips on knockdown wedges from Eddie? Good question. Beautiful dog. Thank you very much. Hello, puppers. What's the fastest golf ball you've hit so far? I just got on. What's the fastest ball you've ever hit? All right, so this year, fastest ball speed I've seen is 172. But my all-time, like ever in my life that I've seen on TrackMan was 180, 181, something like that. But that was back in college, and I was, had a much healthier body. Could really swing fast. But I'm trying to get back to that. So 172 is the fastest I've seen this year, and I'd love to get that to 175, 176 by the end of the season. We're only on day 3 of doing the speed training, so we're going to do more of that tomorrow. Did some yesterday and the day before, so just today's a rest day from the speed stuff. Just wanted to do some ball striking work, and then back with this more speed stuff tomorrow. All right, so Eddie asked about knockdown wedges. This is a great question. The most important thing outside of, so we can talk about technique some too, right? But make sure that you take enough club. Don't just say, okay, it's 100 yards, but the wind's into me, and I usually hit my 56 degree 100, so I'll just knock it down, and it'll still, fly that distance. Like, you might negate some of the effect of the wind, but that shot is even going to be easier if you just say, okay, I'm going to hit 52 degree, and make a 3/4 swing and try to hit it, 110, and then, it should fly about 100, something like that. Nick says, you got PGA speed. Yeah, speed has never really been my problem in golf. Putting and scoring are really the big ones that hold me back from shooting better scores. All right, so Eddie, to start, right, for a knockdown wedge, I'm not a big proponent of getting the ball too far back in your stance, but if a normal wedge is kind of like right in the middle, right? If I wanted to really knock it down, I might go like a ball further back than that, right? So it's never kind of getting all the way on the back foot, but just a little bit, slightly further back than the center. You're going to want to lean the handle, the shaft, towards the target, right? And you're trying to maintain that de-lofted angle into impact, right? Because that's how you're going to get the flight down with the same amount of loft, right, is by de-lofting it. And that also, will help, putting the ball further back in the stance will help with that, right? And then you don't need to swing super hard at it because you're, again, swinging a wedge. You just kind of hold off that follow through. Out from there, out, come on. So hopefully that helps, Eddie. Does that answer your question? Do you hit better with or without gloves? I always wear a glove on my left hand. With beginners, do you recommend just using any balls, or should I keep forking out on relatively expensive ones? It's definitely not the first thing I would tell you that you need to start investing in. But again, it's a question of, you know, you get out what you put into it. But no, it's definitely not necessary to go out and spend, you know, $50 for a dozen brand new Pro V1s. If you're like, hey, I'm a 26 handicap, I'm just starting. You know, you could buy 2 dozen balls of a much more affordable golf ball that's still going to perform fine. Every company out there now has a premium and then sub-premium offerings. What are you guys doing? You helping? You helping? What? You think so? You think so? But I think if you were to say, like, okay, if I could do 1 lesson or buy 3 dozen boxes of Pro V1s, probably better off spending your money on the lesson. Pretty exciting, guys. You guys will get to see me fully hosel a 9-iron, because I did that on Sunday during my match. That was my only blemish on the scorecard. Made double on that hole. 3 birdies on the other holes. Shot 1 under with a double. And a shank. So that'll be exciting to see. Just did the all the shot tracers for all that footage. So that's pretty cool. You just get to be like way over there. I always find a good ball out on the course. All you do is take a peek in the woods. Yeah, I agree with these guys. You can always... Max Vitor is supposed to be really good, too. I tried nitros. They tear up quick. How much is that setup? This probably cost me like $300-400 all in for the materials and the mat. And there's some some tiles under here for padding. And then the net return net is $695 for the Pro. But I've already moved this once and set it back up, and it is extremely well built. So I definitely invested, more than you need to. You could set up an outdoor hitting area somewhat more affordably. Max Vitors are underrated to me. I work at Dick's. I've used them a lot, and they feel fine. For some reason, I always get TB5s. I feel it's a waste of money. I recently found a decent website that sells cleaned up lake balls, and they're great. The only thing with that LR darts is that golf balls really aren't meant to be reused in that way. So they're certainly fine if you're, just getting started. You don't really care. You're going to lose them, but you're definitely going to not get the best performance out of those. So just, word of caution. Lenander said, what clubs do you play? Right now, the irons I've got in the bag are these Takomo 301 CBs. These are super cool. What's your favorite driver? Like all-time driver? I had an SLDR 430 head in college that I hit some absolute missiles with. I also hooked it into the woods a bunch because it was extremely unforgiving if you missed the center of the face. But that club, talk about low spin. That was back in the days of like you got to loft up because the spin was so low. And then they kind of overcorrected, I think, in some subsequent drivers. I've got the QI10 Max in the bag right now, which I like just fine. It's been a tiny bit of an adjustment because of how the hosel is designed. It plays half an inch shorter. So I think this is 44 inches now. I'd have to double check. So it kind of plays almost like in between a driver and a mini driver. So I definitely have noticed some, it doesn't go quite as far as the Stealth that I had before, which cracked. RIP to that Stealth driver. But no, it goes very straight. So that's been nice. I've definitely enjoyed the extra forgiveness coming from the Stealth. The only thing about this platform is I can't really take advantage of the net returns, return capability. Right. One of the things they advertise is that the ball will come back to you. So if you had a flush mat, right, you could presumably just practice with one golf ball and just have it, come back to you over and over again. If you're just starting out, Walmart sells those things called Mulligan, just a bag of random repurposed balls. How long ago was it that you were in college? Oh, too long ago. 10 years ago? Yeah, I think I'll have graduated 10 years ago next year. That's crazy. You hear that, guys? Your dad's getting old. Happens every day. Just got to enjoy each day. That's all we can do, right, guys? She says, yeah, Dad, I'm going to eat this grass because that's what's going to make me happy right now. What are you doing that for, silly? You're very well fed, pup. Oh, that was hit poorly. It's kind of the opposite of what you're looking for when you're trying to do a drill about ball striking. That was better. So again, guys, just making a bunch of half swings, trying to dial in, hitting the center of that face. And for me, what I've been working on too is just this feeling of maintaining this angle into impact, right? Really trying to keep that shaft leaning forward towards the target. Best putter you've used? Great question. I had an Odyssey number 7 crank hosel, like a plumber's neck one, a long time ago. That was probably the best putter I can ever be like, I putted great with that thing. I've got a Scotty in the bag now that I like. Switch back and forth between that and the TaylorMade Spider. Eddie said old man. Yeah, exactly. All-time best. For someone in early 30s, you look younger than that. Oh, thanks, Tom. I appreciate that. All the questions about Corn Ferry should be asking about Champion Store. Scout said hi. Hey, Scout. Whoa, throwing the clubs. Jamie said, show us the putter. The putters are not out here with us, so we might be able to do another stream later, depending on how the rest of the evening goes. But what I'll do sometimes is, I do this practice workout here, work on the swing, hit balls, and then it gets dark. Don't have lights out here yet, so we have, continue the practice inside on the putting green, right? You guys help us with that too? These superstars? You a superstar on the stream? Yeah? You smiling for the people? Yeah, you smiling? You happy guy? Good guy. Yeah. Look at you. Look at you being so happy. You like your new backyard? You do? You do. Look at you. Yeah, look at this good attention. I'm way cooler than you, Dad. This is what the people come to see. This is what they come to see. Yeah. Look at your sister over there kicking up a dirt storm. Look at that. Any tips for using the L-Nex Spider? Have you used any of these zero torque putters that are blowing up? Good question, Tom. Mate, that's a boss dog. Yeah, it's the best dog. He's awesome. They both are. Yeah, you guys smiling. He says there was some attention over here. Oh, now you want to play with your sister. Let me get Cat up here. Any tips for using the L-Nex Spider? I think just practice, right? I've been doing a lot of start line practice inside. Have you used any of these zero torque putters that are blowing up? I have. I played almost all of last season with a lab broomstick, you know, the long one that you hold, you know, like this and swing. And that was a Mez Max. And I just could not figure out the broomstick, guys. It was brutal. Like, I played in some tournaments and posted some crazy high scores that would have been shocking if you watched me hit the ball. But if you watched me putt, you'd be like, this guy shouldn't even be out here. Like, I was three putting from like 20 feet. I mean, I couldn't, you know, roll it close to the hole to save my life. So going back to the short putter. However, Tom, I do have another lab putter arriving in the mail this week. I'm going to try the DF3. I heard you say new backyard. How long have you been at your new place? So my wife and I just bought our first house last month and just got moved in a few weeks ago. Maybe only like 2 weeks ago, 2.5, 3 weeks ago, something like that. Feels like it's been months and months, to be honest, because it's just been a lot of work trying to get everything ready. And, you know, the prior people had young kids, so a lot of the rooms were like orange or bright green. So we had to come in and do a lot of painting and cosmetic things to try and get it cleaned up. So yeah, stay tuned to see the new lab putter in the bag. Hopefully that'll be an interesting experiment. Click said hi. Hey, Clicks. You ever play darts? Is it big in America? So I'll tell you this, LR Darts. When I was drinking, I used to play darts all the time because drinking and darts go great together. And unfortunately, now that I don't drink, I don't find myself in places that have darts. So I haven't. I wouldn't say it's big in America. I would say it is in the same tier as like billiards or pool in terms of like kind of a niche barroom type hobby. Don't you dare buy a dartboard. That's a funny comment, Barney. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate that. I'm doing great, Clicks. How are you? How has golf been lately? Golf's been good. I shot 1 under a couple days ago in the match I played with a college golf friend of mine who's a really good player. He also shot 1 under. We tied. So surprisingly good. I've not played, like, you know, I was just talking about the house and all the work and stuff, and obviously I've not played a ton of golf during that period. I think not yesterday, Sunday, that was my first round of golf in the month of July. So I've not been playing a lot. I've been doing enough practice, though, so you know, the game still felt pretty good. Any tips for if you have to run to the little boys' room during a round? Hope that there's a restroom out on the course somewhere. I hit him well at the range and get on the course and go full R-word. I don't know what to do, man. All right, so Benny, I think, you know, there's a couple of things that can be happening, right? The range can kind of skew our expectations of our golf, right? Because we're hitting every shot off of a nice clean lie. It's nice and flat. And then we get out on the golf course and we have to deal with rough. We have to deal with, you know, uphill and downhill lies and above and below our feet lies. And, you know, we're playing out in the wind and the elements, and you guys gotta watch this just for a minute. These dogs are crazy. Hope there's a big tree behind. Yeah, so these are the two dogs. They're basically best friends. And they play like this all day long. It's very entertaining. Anyway. So Benny, I think, you know, trying to practice out on the course maybe would be a good place to start. If you're like, hey, it just really isn't translating. But again, remember, you got to manage your expectations. How often are you able to practice? How often are you able to play? Um, you know, for anybody who's not playing golf on TV, like if you're in the fairway from 150 yards and you hit the ball on the green, your next shot is a putt. You got to like be, big thumbs up. Like you should be smiling, even if it's 40 feet from the hole, right? I think a lot of us watch golf on TV and you're like, man, I should really be like stuffing my 9 irons, hitting them into like 8 feet every time because that's what I watch on TV. And it's just not how golf works in reality. Thankfully, it's not been a number 2 emergency. Are they staffies, mate? They're all mixes of some kind. Looks like a nice day out. It is a perfect day out. It's not too hot. This is like the first, like, 10 out of 10 summer day that I can remember over the last few weeks. Oh, it's nice to feel the center of the club face again. It had been a while. Jamie says, I have Irish Blue Staffies. Oh, beautiful dogs. Clicks says, have a nice rest of the day. I have to go. Thanks for being here, Clicks. I appreciate your support. Clicks has been a long-time supporter and subscriber. So if you guys want to keep coming back, hanging out, hit that subscribe button for me. Also, while there's a bunch of people in here, if you want to enter the giveaway to win free golf clubs, like I'm just, out of golf equipment that I have that I'm not using, trying to drum up some interest, in firefighter golf. Steve Pope is another creator just like me who's trying to talk about mental health and going to therapy, and his focus is on, first responders. He's a firefighter, but he's very vocally being like, hey guys, there's like a crisis going on that we need to talk about. And I was really impressed with the work that he was doing. And I said like, hey, I could either, like let these clubs sit in a pile somewhere, or I could try, use them to talk about something important. And so we're going to be giving away some clubs. Go check out the video. I just posted another reminder one today. It's very simple. All you have to do is follow me on YouTube and Instagram. Follow Steve at Firefighter Golf on YouTube and Instagram. And then just put a double check mark in the comments. You'll get a number. Then we're going to do a random number generator. We'll probably cut it off. I was a little optimistic. I was like, we'll stop it at 100 entries. And I didn't realize that, like, asking somebody to, comment on a video is like, 1 in 100 people are going to do that to enter a giveaway to get free golf stuff. So it might be like after a week, we'll cut it off and we might have, 25 people. So pretty good odds if you're interested. So go check that out, guys. Go check out the work that Steve's doing. It's important to talk about this stuff. I think failing to do so will only continue the extent to which it is stigmatized. And we all know people. I'm one of those people that has dealt with, things like anxiety or depression. And for me, at times severely, like, in a debilitating way. And I'm fortunate that I now have, tools and support systems and things like that to, help me work through those moments, those hard times, in a much, much better way than I was able to before, utilizing those tools, going to therapy, things like that. So we have to talk about them. It's too common not to. And that was a big part of why I wanted to start this channel, was not even about that issue, so specifically, but more in the sense of, my younger self believe the things that I now am capable of. Like if you told me, a younger version of me, like, hey, there's gonna be a time when you've gone years. I'm now 4.5 years without drinking any alcohol. It would have been impossible to a younger version of myself. So what I really want people to see is like, it's possible. You can change your life. You can make better choices and, grow as a person in a meaningful way. And if me talking about my experience or doing some of these things, is the catalyst by which some people are, motivated to believe in themselves, then that's the whole point, right? Let me catch up here. LR Darts. Darts is massive in the UK. Crazy how it can be so different across the pond. Tom says, I think the more popular game is pool. I agree with that. I got some Tacomas in March. Love them, the 301s, because I need the forgiveness since I'm so new. I think I should have gotten the 301T for the extra shot chain, but I love these. Congrats on that. Takes a lot of self-discipline, respect. I'm now almost 2 years nicotine-free. Wow, proud of you, Tom. That's no joke either. I don't talk about it nearly as much, but I track my nicotine-free, years and months too. I was a pretty heavy nicotine user in a variety of formats over the years. God, I want to hit them all like that. Just dead nuts in the center of the face. Yeah, I smoked cigarettes for a while. Had the Juul, those terrible vape sticks for a while. Then I was going through like a can a day of Zyn, the nicotine salt pouches. So it's not good for you guys. That sounded pure. Yeah, that last one was hit good. I'm going to go back and really quick take a peek at that one. Love the setup here. I've been getting a lot closer to the ball. I think it's helped a lot. Man, I've tried 1,000 ways to quit smoking, hopped on the Zyn train, so I'm off cigarettes, but now I have that habit. I think it's all incrementally better, right? I think Zyn, everything I understand is that it is a better choice. That's not, these things are all shades of gray, but a better choice than smoking cigarettes. I regret ever getting into vaping. Got me really sick senior year of high school. Lost 35 pounds in 2 weeks. Missed my senior season of tennis. That was when the vape craze was at its peak. Man, that's not great. Arguably worse because I just have a lipper packed all day. I hear you. Yeah, it's hard. There's a reason why every package says nicotine is an addictive chemical, because it really is. My best advice is just take it, same as drinking, same as anything. Just one day at a time, right? You don't have to quit forever. You can just quit for today. And then if you make it through today, well, you can quit again tomorrow, right? And you just stack one day at a time. The same way, in my mind, yeah, it's been 4.5 years since I last drank alcohol, but I'm just trying to get through today. Just same way I did yesterday, right? And certainly that's much easier today than it was, the very first day or the second day or the third day, right? But the process doesn't change. It doesn't matter what it is. And, Eddie, don't be afraid to ask for help, right? If you, talk to your doctor, talk to, resources in your community. Be like, hey, guys, I don't want to be a smoker. I don't want to deal with the health impacts of using nicotine. What are things that people recommend that I could do that, ask your doctor. Like, are there things I could do to make quitting easier? You've already done the hard part, which is to say, hey, I know this isn't the best thing for me, and I want to do something different. That was another good strike. Also, just want to say thank you again, guys. All the support on the channel recently has been so insane. All the likes, all the comments, all the views, all the subscribers, right? We just blasted through 2,600 subscribers. The numbers are just going up and up and up. Every video, every live stream we do. It's all thanks to you guys. Seriously. I mean, you guys show up for me, show the support. It makes it that much easier for me to keep coming out here and doing stuff and, creating a space where people can hang out, we can learn, grow together. It doesn't all have to be super serious stuff. It can be, Like, hey, swing your driver at 20,000% and see how fast you can get it. You know, that was a fun moment, I remember. Let me catch up here. Tom, try weaning off. I just kept going, so I went cold turkey. Quit and stopped 3 times before I finally said I had to stop. First time I had terrible withdrawals. Terrible. Yeah, me too. I probably quit like a dozen times before it stuck. You know, I could make it like 2 or 3 days, and I'd be like, I feel awful. This isn't worth it. I'm 2 weeks into quitting again, still dealing with headaches. Ultimately, I'm willing to put up with it because even if I don't accomplish anything else, that's a win for the day. Hell yeah, dumb dog. I'm only saying that because it's your name. But proud of you, man. That's hard. Hey, LR Darts with a nice super chat. Thanks very much. I really appreciate you supporting me. I had headaches, nausea, no appetite for a week my first time quitting. Do you ever play any golf in Canada? I'm an Ontario boy, never golfed in the States. So many nice courses I can't get to. I have not played any golf in Canada, unfortunately. Actually, that's not true. I played golf on Prince Edward Island probably 15 years ago. Beautiful up there. Really, really cool part of the world. Play more up there. I've seen some amazing videos. A bunch of creators were out like at Banff and Alberta. Some mountain golf up there that was incredible. Read Alan Carr's Easy Way to Quit Smoking Without Willpower. Can smoke while you read it. That's a good recommendation from Bennett Liska. Shout out to Bennett. Thanks very much for chiming in. What was crazy is my friend said he was going to quit vaping by smoking. I said, bro, what, are you for real, man? Yeah, that seems backwards. You'd be like, that'd be like saying, you know what, I'm going to quit drinking beer so I can drink less. I'm just going to drink liquor. Just going to drink shots of vodka. LR Darts, I better hop off now, mate. Got to make my own video. I'll be on the next one. Have a great day, buddy. Thanks very much, LR Darts. Appreciate you being here. And for subscribing. If you guys want to be a new subscriber like LR, smash that subscribe button for me. Also, our first super of the chat from LR. Thanks very much. Hey, Paul. What's up, Paul Cummins? Welcome back from Scotland. Logan, what do you do for work? I work in consulting, which is great because I, can work flexibly. I work from home and, have time to do stuff like this, hang out with you guys. Susan Lynn said hi. Hey, Susan Lynn. Thanks for being here. Excuse me, Miss Lady. Excuse me. No, we don't eat the grass. We don't eat the grass. Yeah, go chase your brother. What's he doing? Go chase your brother. Go on. All right, guys. We had a few more good, solid 8-irons here. It's just so flush. It's so middled. Like, I want to keep doing it over and over again. Just bottle up that feeling. Tom says, you earned a new subscriber for me just because you seem so honest and grateful. It's nice to see someone so kind on here for a change. Well, I appreciate that feedback, Tom. I'm, just trying to be myself. But I like to think of myself as a kind person. I think, going through recovery and dealing with a lot of the experiences that I've dealt with, and then, putting in the work with things like therapy and meditation and other, things like that to try and, work through a lot of that stuff. It has forced me to become like just a highly empathetic person. Like, I think it's hard not to, feel dismay in that sense at a lot of what's going on in the world, especially in my own country. I don't feel like people in charge are acting with a lot of empathy. And it's pretty disheartening to me. But yeah, just, crazy looking guy hitting golf balls. Not a big Venn diagram if you're like, well, there's people that have like, a lot of their body covered in tattoos and people who are low index golfers. There's not a big overlap in the middle. That's what's cool about social media and the internet is, I found other people who look just like me and are also really good at golf, and that's pretty cool. Eddie says, having someone chatting in the background get me through changing lights in the house. You're right, never ends. Tom says, you seem very relatable and empathetic. Well, I appreciate you saying that. That's, I think that's a big part of why the channel's had so much success early on, right? I mean, I only started posting videos in January of this year. Because I think, like, if you turn on the news, if you turn on, your social media, there's so much negative stuff. There's a reason to be upset any moment of the day, right? But if I can come on here, or if I can post some videos to be like, hey, we're all just trying to get through the day together. Things are hard, and if you're working on hard stuff, then I'm proud of you. Like, I think it's important for people to hear that. So I think just trying to, like, put something positive and empathetic or relatable, to use your words, Tom, like, out into the world. I think people are looking for that. They're like, hey, it's scary out there. There's a lot of bad stuff happening. Like, where's a place I can go that's, a little more positive, a little more upbeat. So that's kind of the angle I'm always trying to approach from. Like, I think if we all ask ourselves in every interaction, could be online or otherwise, like, how could I be 1 notch, 2 notches nicer in this situation, right? Even when things aren't going your way, or you're frustrated, or someone says something you don't like, just take a second and be like, this is what I was going to say. What's a way I could make it be 1 notch nicer? Feeling really good with the iron swing right now, so what are you sniffing, buddy? Elijah says, I'm new to golf, just played my first round last week, had a blast. Any advice on gripping the clubs? My consistency is definitely wanting, thanks in advance. Well, number 1, Elijah, proud of you for trying something new. That's always, requires some gumption, so good for you, and welcome to the golf world. It's an awesome community. Like I was just saying, I've had a wonderful experience starting this channel and meeting people online, all the people who make content and comment on stuff. Okay, so advice for the grip, right? Main things you want to understand are, well, what's my objective with the grip? And your objective is to obviously hold on to the club, right? But control that club face, right? Depending on what you do with your grip, you can make some really big, changes to what that club face is doing. What I would have you do, right, is remember, you watch a lot of videos and you watch, like, fundamentals of golf, and people will be like, well, here's how you grip the club, right? And they hold it up like this right in front of them, and they put it down, and they go, this is how you grip it. And then 2 minutes later in the same video, they go, and at impact, you need the handle, a head leaning forward, right? Well, if you grip it like this, and then you push the handle forward, what do? You just massively open the club face, right? So my personal opinion, what I do, is I think it's important to grip the club in the condition that you want to deliver into the ball, right? So if you want to deliver shaft lean at impact, which, you don't have to, but all the good ball strikers do, so, I think we should, right? Then set up that way and grip the club that way. For most people, that will feel like a stronger grip, which I think is good, because most amateurs miss it to the right. So with that little, soapbox moment behind us, Elijah, I would tell you, I'm going to try to stand like this, maybe you can see, right? I try to grip the club in my fingers, so it kind of runs through here. It's not in the palm. I'm not gripping it like a club or a bat, right? My left hand sits kind of on top, And so again, from that setup position where I have the shaft leaning forward, I can see, a couple knuckles, 2 to 3 knuckles on this hand. And this V between my index finger and my thumb is pointed somewhere close to my right shoulder, right? My right hand's going to come and sit on top. And that same V, the thumb index finger V, is pointed at the same right shoulder. So that's something like that. I use this overlap grip where this pinky just sits right on top. Jackass, are you good at putting? No, I'm not good at putting. I'm actually the worst at putting. You could do an interlock grip. That's pretty common. I did that for a long time and recently switched away from that. The 10-finger grip is less common, definitely, but, it's also fine. Jack, what's your handicap? Right now it's around 2. Usually between like +1 and 1. But we've played some not so good golf at the beginning of this year. So it's gone up. But yeah, usually around 0. Sometimes a little better, sometimes a little worse. That was hit a little bit then. Hello, Beans. Hi. What? Oh, you both want to say hi. It's a double team. Double team. Hi. Hi. Oh, that's a lot of kissing. Yeah, that's a lot of kissing. Hi. Hi. What's your brother doing? I know. It is time for your next feeding. Well, don't eat the grass, sir. There's a simple solution. That was solidly struck right there. That might be a good one to end on. Try a bigger grip. Well, Mark, I've already got... These are jumbo grips with some extra tape built up on them. So outside of going to like a Bryson Jumbo Max type grip, this is about as big as it'll go. Tom says, I don't have any tats, but I like them on people. Do yours have any meaning? Well, I have some bad news for you, Tom. Most of them don't really have any particular meaning to me. In fact, what I did for a long time, well, there was an artist who I still work with, who I love. This guy, Jimmy. Shout out to Jimmy. And I'd be like, hey, you can tattoo my arm. Here's like maybe some ideas, some rough kind of things I want, but like, just tattoo my arm. Draw whatever you want. You know, let's do it. And just, you know, let him do his thing. And you get some really cool... You know, you get people's attention, right? These people are artists. They want to draw stuff. They want to make art, you know? Some of my tattoos are meaningful to me because of where I got them or the people I was with when I got the tattoo. But it's all just ink and skin, right? It's none of it's all that serious. Hizzle uses big grips too. Shout out to Hizzle. All right, dogs. We can't be back here. Come on. Come on. Out. I know. You're a menace. You're a menace. Out. Out. I know. All right, guys. I will be back tomorrow. Eddie says, got a motor, time for dinner. Have a good stream. Thanks, Eddie. I appreciate you being here. And we are also about to sign off for the evening, but check it out tomorrow, guys. Hit that subscribe button for me if you want to come back for more. Wow, 68 likes on the stream. Shout out to you guys. That's amazing. And we'll be back with speed training and some more ball striking stuff tomorrow. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.